I don't know. That's okay. We still love you.
Good morning. Welcome to Legacy. It is a good day to be in the house of the Lord. Stand with us to worship this morning.
He's coming on the clouds. Kings and kingdoms will bow down, and every chain will break as broken hearts declare his praise. Who can stop the Lord Almighty? Our God is the Lion of Judah. He's roaring in power and fighting our battles, and every knee will bow before him. Our God is the Lamb that was slain for the sins of the world. His blood breaks the chains, and every knee will bow before the Lion and the Lamb. Oh, every knee will bow before him. Oh, so open up the gate, make way before the King of Kings. The God who comes to save is here to set the captives free. For who can stop the Lord Almighty? Our God is a Lion, the Lion of Judah. He's roaring in power and fighting our battles, and every knee will bow before him. Our God is a Lamb, the Lamb that was slain for the sins of the world. His blood breaks the chains, and every knee will bow before the Lion and the Lamb. Oh, every knee will bow before the Lion and the Lamb. Who can stop the Lord Almighty? Who can stop the Lord Almighty? Who can stop the Lord Almighty? Who can stop the Lord Almighty?
Who can stop the Lord Almighty? Who can stop the Lord Almighty? Who can stop the Lord Almighty? No one. Who can stop the Lord?
Our God is a lion, the Lion of Judah. He's roaring in power and fighting our battles, and every knee will bow before him. Our God is a lamb, the lamb that was slain for the sins of the world. His blood breaks the chains, and every knee will bow before the Lion and the Lamb. And every knee will bow before the Lion and the Lamb. And every knee will bow before the Lion and the Lamb. Oh, and every knee will bow before the Lion and the Lamb.
I'm so thankful today for God's reckless love and that he chases after us. The Bible's very clear. He'll leave the 99 just for the one.
Before I spoke a word, you were singing over me. You have been so, so good to me. Before I took a breath, you breathed your life in me. You have been so, so kind to me.
And holy, overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God.
Oh, it chases me down, fights till I'm found, leaves the 99.
Oh, I couldn't earn it, and I don't deserve it. Still, you give yourself away. And
Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. When I was your foe, still your love fought for me. You have been so, so good to me. When I felt no worth, you paid it all for me. You have been so, so kind to me.
And oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God.
Oh, it chases me down, fights till I'm found, leaves the 99.
Oh, I couldn't earn it, and I don't deserve it. Still, you give yourself away. And oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Yeah.
no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, no lie you won't tear down, coming after me. There's no shadow you won't light up, no mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, no lie you won't tear down, coming after me.
There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. Yeah. There's no wall you won't kick down, no lie you won't tear down, coming after me. Sing it again. There's no shadow you won't light up, no mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. Yeah. There's no wall you won't kick down, no lie you won't tear down, coming after me. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Oh, it chases me down, fights till I'm found, leaves the 99. Oh, I couldn't earn it, and I don't deserve it. Still you give yourself away. And oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. In this crazy world we live in today, this has become one of my favorite songs, and I find myself in the kitchen just singing it. You know, our world is just crazy, and there's so many things going on, so I hope this brings you some hope. It's called Come Jesus Come. Sometimes I fall to my knees and pray, come Jesus come. Let today be the day. Sometimes I feel like I'm gonna break, but I'm holding on to a hope that won't fade. Come Jesus come. We've been waiting so long for the day you return to heal every hurt and right every wrong. We need you right now. Come and turn things around. 'Cause deep down I know this world isn't home. Come Jesus come. There'll be no war, and there'll be no chains when Jesus comes. Let today be the day. He'll come for the weak and the strong just the same, and all will believe in the power of his name. So come Jesus come. We've been waiting so long for the day you return to heal every hurt and right every wrong. We need you right now. Come and turn this around. 'Cause deep down I know this world isn't whole. Come, Jesus, come. Come, Jesus, come. One day he'll come, and we'll stand face to face. Come and lay it all down, 'cause it might be today. The time is right now. Oh, there's no need to wait. Your past will be washed by rivers of grace. So come, Jesus, come. We've been waiting so long for the day you return to heal every hurt and right every wrong. We need you right now. Come and turn this around. 'Cause deep down I know this world isn't whole. Come, Jesus, come. Come, Jesus, come. Come, Jesus, come.
You know who all is here today. Pastor Kelly has given me the honor of sharing Legacy Center with you all today. So if you would just, is this not working?
No,
This one
it
better?
is. I just want
Okay,
you to have some.
thank you. So if you all would just bow your heads and pray with me. Heavenly Father, thank you so much for this day. Just thank you for this opportunity to share your word and what you're doing with Legacy Center and with this church. And just as I have prayed all week, it is just my prayer, and I know it is your will, that whatever is said today will inspire people in this congregation, in this church, just to take action. Just come and be with us all today. In your name I pray, amen. I'm already emotional and I haven't even started. Okay, so as I said, Pastor Kelly wanted, the kids can be dismissed to Kids Zone. So as I said, Pastor Kelly wanted me to share Legacy Center. Legacy Center got its start in the old building where Legacy Church got its start. And we have been there since 2018. And Legacy Center consists of the Lunchbox Food Pantry and the Housekeeper's Cupboard, which the Housekeeper's Cupboard is ran by Mrs. Pam, and I'm going to let her share a little bit about what's going on with what she does at the cupboard and what's been going on with them.
Good morning. Okay, so I don't know how many know about the cupboard, what the cupboard consists of, what it does. I'll give you a brief overview of what it does. We work with other places within the community. Raleigh County Community Action is one of the primary places we work with, and we help rehouse the homeless. They find people out there that are homeless, and they are able to find them a place to reside. And we come in with what we call the move-in kit is their first option. We have 6 months that we keep them under our wing to try to help them go from what they've been in to what they have promise of. The move-in kit, what you see up on the screen right now, that is our monthly kits. That's the things that we have in the monthly kits. But the move-in kit will consist of blankets, bedding, towels, not appliances. We'll give them a toaster if they need a coffee pot. I try to reach out to each person, each family, to find out what their needs are so that we're not giving them things and doubling up on things. If they've already got a coffee pot, there's no need for us to take on that expense. We can put that money somewhere else. But we'll have pots and pans for them. We'll give them the things that would help them. When Miss Lynn, who is the one who created the housekeeper's cupboard, when she started this, her intention was she had gone through the homeless part herself. And for a person to go into a home and have nothing to walk into the home with but the four walls, she said is more devastating than being homeless. So our goal is to make them understand they are someone and they are loved. Not necessarily by each and every person that they run into, but that God loves them and wants more for them. So within that move-in kit, we'll give them the necessities of life, but we will also give them a Bible. We give them, each month, we give them a devotional so that they constantly have the reminder. Now, do they open it? Do they look at it? I don't know, but they have the opportunity to look at it. We have had some that will come to me later and have, thanked us for that and have shared their testimony. So it's an amazing little thing that we do. It is a heart-wrenching thing that we do. If you've ever seen these people that are out on the street trying to get food, trying to get help, some of them we all know are not legitimate. Some of those are truly people that need your help and want to better their lives. And that's what the housekeeper's cupboard is all about. So over the lifespan of the cupboard, we have helped over 300 clients. And when I say clients, that can consist of an individual or that can consist of a family of 5. So when we get the request in for a family, it's a little harder to give those move-in kits for a family. Not harder, more expensive sometimes. We rely on a lot of donations, people who are selling estates and have extra stuff that they didn't sell in their estates. They'll give us their bedding, they'll give us dishes, all kinds of stuff like that. But that stuff starts to run out, so therefore we have to pay for it. Because we don't want these people that need it to not have it. I would rather pay for it and make sure they have it than say, well, we don't have it donated, so therefore we're not going to give it to them. So I try to fix those kits the best I can with everything they possibly would need. So on an average, each month we have 15 to 20 clients that we provide the monthly kits for. And in those monthly kits, as you see, there's toilet paper, paper towels, their all-purpose cleaner, they have a sponge, they have their toiletries that they need to help them to supplement them from month to month. Because the Raleigh County Community Action, what they do, they help get them in the programs that they are eligible for, whether it be the food stamps, whether it be any other funding that they are eligible for. I even think they may help them try to help find the jobs, that type thing. So they do a lot. Now, I don't do this by myself. There's no way under God's green earth I could do this by myself. I do the shopping and I do the packing of the boxes. I do get help from the youth sometimes, thanks to Tiffany and Hunter. They have helped pack those boxes. I have 3 men, and none of them are here this morning. I think one of them will be at second service. 3 men that help on a regular basis to make sure those boxes are delivered to each and every client that we have. Greg Hazuka, thank you, and Gray. Gray helps as well. He helps his dad deliver those, because the areas that we're delivering to are not your white picket fence houses. Freddie Meredith, he helps, and my husband Willis, when he is in town, he helps. He is a true huge help to me, because not only will he help me deliver it, but he will help me box it, he will help me do the shopping as long as he's around. It's a very emotional thing when you meet some of these people. We had this one gentleman, he actually touched my heart, he touched Greg's heart, he touched my husband's heart. He was a self-employed man, had his own business, worked very hard at it, and he had an illness that hit him. He ended up in the hospital and could not get out of the trenches from that, because he didn't have insurance, he didn't have the things that he needed, so he ended up homeless and in this situation. He tugged at our hearts so much. I mean, I made a judgment call and kept him on the program a little longer than the 6 months. But he had hopes of having his own place instead of where he was residing in Heber Street. So we were trying to help him move forward with that. But if anyone ever has any questions in regards to the cupboard, it is an amazing little thing that Miss Lynn started. I think she started in, was it 19 or 20? 19? Okay. I can never remember what year it began. I didn't start as soon as it began, but I was there probably within 6 months to a year after she had started the program. But if anybody ever wants to see what we do, we've got we are now over, we were down in the Legacy Center with Miss Angela, but we've moved over here to the house, which makes it easier for me, and I have more space in order to keep the things that we have for the cupboard. If you ever want to see what we have, what we do, what it's about, just let me know. I'll be glad to let you look around and see where we keep everything and what we've got, so you can get a more visual of what we do. But I think that's it, unless someone has a question. No questions? Thank you. Miss Angela?
So as Pam said, she could not do that without her helpers, her volunteers. So if you are inspired to help her, do what she asks. Just find her and she will put you to work. So the lunchbox, that little slide that you have now, we are serving over 350 people per month now. And you all can imagine how busy it's gotten since the SNAP benefits were delayed. But hopefully people are getting their SNAP. But someone is in a food crisis every day, regardless of whether they receive SNAP or if they don't. So the lunchbox is there for them. We're open every Saturday from 10 to 12 for anyone that needs food. We do not check income or anything like that. We do ask for an ID, and we do ask for proof of dependency for any children in the household, just to be good stewards of what God has given us to give out. Our guests line up outside. Sometimes they wait in the rain and the snow, but they're happy to do so. They greatly appreciate that we are a choice pantry. They get a little shopping basket, and they get to go in the hygiene room, the cooler room, and they get to meet all of the lunchbox helpers, the volunteers, and they choose their food items, and they feel like a person. So I have asked a few of the volunteers, we have more, there might be some different ones here, second service, to share with you all what's most rewarding, memorable, or just whatever they would like to share with you, what it's like for them to serve at the lunchbox. And again, I might say this too much today, but I hope that you are inspired to take some action. So would you like to go first, Leslie? Keep in mind, I asked them to do this. They're out of their comfort zone just like I am. So if you would like to go first, Leslie. And Trinity. When they started, Trinity was right there with her mom. Tiny little thing. So thank you.
Yes, this is way out of my comfort zone. But when we first started the food pantry, I really enjoyed it. I mean, I was able to reach out. We connected with people that were in the same situation that I've been through plenty of times. So I was able to connect with them and just let them know, look, it's not a permanent situation. You know, we were able to share our own testimonies with a lot of people that came through that were hurting in very dark places. And again, I can connect. I've been there. It is just rewarding to know that you can see that by the time they left the pantry, you know, and each time they came back, they opened up a little bit more. They seemed more hopeful. Trinity, she was always a big help with all the little small kids, even though she was just a little kid herself. She would help pick things up. She would watch the kids. She would help carry bags out. You know, I don't know what her experiences for, you know, rewarding was, but I would love to get back into volunteering. Obviously, I haven't done that for several years, but life has thrown me some challenges, so hopefully at one point I can start back to doing that. You want to say anything? I didn't think she would. But yeah, if you feel compelled to volunteer, do so, because it is very, very rewarding.
As Leslie said, she's been there. And it was such a blessing to have her for the years that I did, because I could just trust her instincts, trust her inspiration from God, that she would know, like, the person. She could see the person that was there. She knew if they needed extra. She was awesome, and we miss her. And Trinity as well. She would sit beside me. The little children that came in, they were looking for their friend at the pantry, and that was Trinity. And next we have Mike Noland. Mike comes every week to get our cardboard, and he has also started putting a clothing table out here on Sundays, and Mike could use some help. So.
Good morning. My name's Mike. A lot of you call me Mikey. I don't know where that came from, G.D. Bowman. But anyway, as part of Lunchbox, the clothing table is really a satellite of the Lunchbox. I would go and I know Angela from being there at the Lunchbox, and also I collect their cardboard to recycle. And as time went on, we talked about this. And then I also talked to Kelly and Jeannie about it as well, and got permission to go ahead and set up a satellite. Basically it is, it's just a satellite of the Lunchbox. And it's just clothing, that's all it is, it's clothing. And if something else comes up, you know, we'll share that too. It's like last week, I think a guy named Danny, I think his name is Danny Kincaid, came out and gave us a bunch of pastries and stuff. And we just shared them with everybody else out there. So whatever I have out there, I share. And I tell people, take what you want, as much as you want. And it seems to be working well. Basically an hour, it only lasts 2 hours. It's 12:30 until 2:30. And usually within the first half hour, half of it's gone. I've actually had a day when it was completely gone. And it's just anybody who wants it. I've had people from New Jersey drop by, people from Texas drop by, and it's the same, it's just anybody who wants it. We don't restrict anything. I started out getting my clothes from the Lunchbox, and as time goes on, thank you all very much, the church has donated a lot of stuff, and I appreciate that. So you're part of this. And we'll continue to do it. It started as a pilot program, but I think it seems to be catching on. I even have people who come and help that live on the street. And I have a family of 5. There's grandpa and the daughter and their friend. They come about every week. And I just start putting stuff out there, and as I put stuff out there, they go looking through it, and they actually help me unload, do the table, fold the stuff on the table and stuff like that. So people have donated that have got stuff from the clothing table. And it's just real simple. It's just a table and a sign. And and we put it on Facebook, and people come by. So I thank you again for all your donations and stuff. We get donations from everybody. And when I run low, I go back to the lunchbox and get some more. Let's see. One of the things that I see is that people come from all over, and it doesn't matter where they come from. Just to point out that right now, it's coats and it's socks. That's the big items right now. And we have a box out there that any donations that go in that box out there at the front of the entry to the church goes back to the lunch box. And I just thought that if every family were to put one item in the box, that would help the lunchbox very much. So I appreciate you all, and thank you for letting me speak to you.
I want to remind you all of a verse that Pastor Kelly shares with us often. Do not despise these small beginnings, for the Lord rejoices to see the work begin. Start little. Something was canceled this week, and I didn't speak up about it, but some individuals and churches wanted to do something, and they changed their mind because it wasn't big enough. It wasn't advertised enough. And that's fine. I totally respect that. But God just whispered that to me. Do not despise these small beginnings. And I think that every time I see Mike posting on Facebook that his table is outside. And that one can that you put in that little donation bin, or that pair of gloves, God will take that and he will use it. Move, do it. It might seem so small and insignificant, but it's not. Trust me. God will take that and he will do something miraculous with it. So thank you, Mike, for doing that. And if you are inspired to help Mike, please see him after church and help Mike. He's thought of something else that he wants to share.
Yeah, it's not me. It's not me out there. It's God. God gives. God provides. So it's not me. It's him.
So I'm just going down the row up here. So next is Patrick. While he's coming up, I would like to share something else with you all. One Sunday, Pastor Kelly asked a young man to come up and move this first row of benches. They're all stuck together, the chairs. Some of you all might remember that. And he came up and he got on the end and he was like, how do I do that? Well, Pastor Kelly was hoping that someone else would come up and get a hold of the other end and move it all. And in my mind and my imagination, I saw myself stacking those chairs up in a big stack and getting behind it and carrying it. And a lot of times that's what happens when someone goes to do God's work. They are carrying the whole load. But with Patrick by my side, I do not have to do that. So, yeah.
Thank you, babe. For me, the most rewarding has probably been watching the lunchbox grow over the last few years. It's really grown a lot, actually. Just in the last probably 2 years, we've seen it's went from 200 to 300 families every month, and that's a lot of people. And probably making the kids' bags every week, because these families, there's a lot of children that come there, and we don't know if they're eating during the week. We don't know if they're eating at school, and that was Angela's idea. So, and they have all kinds of stuff in it, from fruit cups, candy, all kinds of stuff. And thank you to everybody that volunteers and everybody that donates. Thank you.
So as Patrick mentioned, the kids' bags are his passion. They have juice, milk, chips, candy, fruit cups, Pop-Tarts, ramen, anything we get that we think that the kids will love, and they love those bags. Patrick loves to make them, and we have had parents say it is worth standing in that line for an hour just to get that bag for their children, and they can get it every week. And they just, of course, they love Patrick because they know that he's the one that put that Snickers bar in there. So that is a rewarding thing about the lunchbox. You develop relationships with our guests, and you just get to share Christ's love with them, and you get to make a difference in their life. And you all, anyone that's donated, prayed for the lunchbox, you all, we're your hands and feet. This just the same as you all are just, God is using you to help us to help them. So thank you for doing that. Next is my daughter-in-law, Abby.
Good morning. So I got the pleasure of spending a lot of time in my college years and during COVID volunteering specifically in the hygiene room. Angela just invited me to come see what it was all about, and when you think about a food pantry, at least in my perception, hygiene items weren't the first thing that I thought of, but they are so crucial and so essential. And something that keeps coming to my mind, I have a degree in education, so I'm thinking from an educator standpoint, when you want to serve kids, there's a hierarchy of needs to get them where they need to be so they can learn, right? And at the bottom of the pyramid, it's safety, security, basic needs. Those need to be met before they can reach their full potential. And I think that's exactly what the lunchbox does. So things like a bar of soap, body wash, paper towels, toilet paper, razors, baby food, those kinds of things are so incredibly important to these people in order to give them that sense of safety, give them that sense of security, make them feel like they belong. And it was so rewarding for me because when families would go in there, they were thinking, what can I get for my children? What can I get for their spouse? You know, they're thinking about how can I take care of my family, and they're kind of putting themselves on the back burner, but they also deserve to be taken care of. So what was most rewarding to me was being able to see not only these people getting autonomy to take care of their families, but being able to take care of themselves in the process. They get to go in and choose the items in the hygiene room themselves, so that gives them that sense of like, hey, I'm doing this, you know, and that's really empowering. A story that keeps coming to my mind, and I think that they're just little things that we take for granted. A lady came in one day, and we had some clothing items and things, and she was just walking through, and her shoes were just torn to pieces. She was like walking on flip-flops that were half broken, and I just was like, hey, you know, what size shoe do you wear? And she told me, and I was able to go in the back and pull a pair of shoes, and just to see the tears run down her face, because I was able to give her a pair of shoes that worked. She had a little bag that she was carrying. She was holding the bag from the bottom, and I was like, well, would you like a purse too? You know, I knew we had a purse, and just the overwhelming sheer joy that this lady had, because to me that was something so small, you know, but it was a huge deal to her. Like, I get to walk every day with shoes on my feet, and I get to have a stick of deodorant and a body wash and whatever. Like, these are things I can go to the dollar store and get at my pleasure, but to these people, they were so huge and so impactful. So that was what was most rewarding for me, is just seeing people take pride and have so much joy in the little things that to us are little things, but to them it's everything. So whenever you think about volunteering, you should really consider going and seeing what the hygiene element is all about too. It will really rock your world and change your mind.
So before Abby took over the hygiene room, of course we had the food. That was my focus. But occasionally I would get soap donated or dish liquid or maybe some toilet paper, paper towels. And Abby looked at those shelves and she was like, oh my goodness. So she was the inspiration behind, the variety of hygiene and cleaning products that we have now. So next up we have Miss Rita, if she would like to. I understand.
Morning, everybody. Okay, Angela and Patrick both were talking about how we get to meet these people. We know them by their names. We know their stories. We had a young man in, 2 months ago? He was so troubled. He had a gun. He was ready to kill himself. Elizabeth, Hobb, myself, I believe even Patrick was there. We prayed over that young man. We saw him a couple weeks ago. He is totally different, totally different. We set him up with New River Community, with a pastor up there building houses and everything now. He is completely changed. It only takes one little thing. Just show them a little respect. Make them feel like they are human beings. I'm going to break up. I can't.
Miss Rita has definitely been a blessing. And next we have Elizabeth, and I know that she might have trouble on these stairs as well. So we're going to let her share.
Sure, I need this thing. I have a big mouth. Now I talk all the time. Ask my husband. Yeah, all right. My name is Elizabeth Hobbling, and we have not lived in this area very long. We moved here in January from Kansas. But I've always had a desire in my heart to serve. I think that's my spiritual gift. I know what it's like to have food insecurity. When I was a young child, my mother many times wouldn't eat so her children could. But God has blessed us so much, and we want to pass that blessing on. There are two things that I want to say about my experience at the lunchbox. It humbles me, and it gives me so much joy. These people come in, and I might not remember their name because I don't have much of a short-term memory. If you say it enough, I'll remember. But they come in, and they look forward to seeing us because they are treated as friends. And I had a woman tell me just Saturday that she looked on us as friends. And it is the high point of my week to go to the lunchbox, to see those people, to talk to them. They will ask for prayer. Could you pray for my mama? Could you pray for my sons, my brothers? Could you pray for me? And we do. And many times we pray right there because they have an urgency. They need that prayer. Like they were she was talking about this young man. His name is Tim. We worried about him for months because he was dead set on killing himself. And to see him come in, totally, I didn't even recognize him, totally and completely changed. And that's a God thing. It wasn't anything that we did. It was a God thing. And we just rejoiced. And it gives me, so like I said, so much joy. It has blessed me, I swear, more than we have blessed them. To be able to serve the least of these that our Lord has asked us to. But we do need items. There are times we don't have much. And I got to tell you, yesterday in the hygiene room where Rita and I work, we had a lot of stocked. At the end of our time, there was nothing left because there is so much need. And I feel bad for the ones that come in at the end of the day and there's not quite as much for them as there was in the beginning. But they understand. And we just thank them when they get ready to go. We say, thank you for coming to see us. And one time, Angela put me in the clothing room, and I had one particular little old lady come looking for me. She said, you were supposed to be in the hygiene room. I said, well, this is where I'm serving today. She said, well, I had to come by and get a hug because I'm also a massive hugger. But it is such a blessing to serve other people when you have been blessed so much. And you don't even, if you're not comfortable with volunteering, donate stuff. We always can use stuff. And that's all I got to say in Jesus' name.
Nobody wants the clothing room, but she was. And when she signed up, I told her and Hob, I really need somebody in the clothing room. So that's what's on her paper. So we needed her there, and I'm very thankful that you did that day. So next up is Hob, Elizabeth's husband. If you would want to go up, you can do that.
Good morning, everyone. I just wanted to start off by saying that we all got up here and said it's not about us, but my thing that I thought about the most was about me. I thought about moving here. Before we moved here, and especially after we moved here, I was so grateful to God. I've always wanted to come back and live in this part of the country. We were kind of from this part of the country, a little more up into Ohio, but it was always our dream to come back here and live in this area. And to be able to come back and live in Beckley, especially, how beautiful it is. Sitting outside on my porch in the evenings, watching deer, watching the hummingbirds come by, and just feeling so blessed. I mean, blessed just beyond imagination. And by the way, I did want to touch on the comfort zone thing. This is my comfort zone right here. Okay, this is kind of hard. I'm the guy that in a room full of this size of people, I am way back in that corner. Unlike my lovely wife Elizabeth, who absolutely has to talk to at least 6 people before we leave Walmart, okay? She's blessed with that. And I'm wired a little bit differently. But anyways, not to get too far off subject. Coming to here, I first got here, I knew I was so blessed. I was like, God, you've blessed me so much. You know, I can't imagine how I can turn around and thank you for the blessings that you gave. I don't, you know, I can't begin to thank you. And I said, I know that I got to start reaching out to people. Pastor Kelly talks about it all the time. I got to do this. And so when we first got here, I talked to God, and he said, you got to get a ministry. As tough as it is going to be on you, you got to be up against people, working with people. You've got to get a ministry. So we just, her and I, one weekday morning, dropped by. Angela was in there, and we started talking to her, and Elizabeth started first, and then I started shortly afterwards. And to walk in there on a Saturday morning and watch Angela with a child on her lap reading to them, it almost brings me to tears, just instantly. Because it's absolutely one of the greatest things I've ever seen. I always pictured a food pantry or a shelter like that or anything as just kind of cold and you know, hey, move through, get your stuff, go, blah, blah, blah. It's not like that there. We have many, many families. We have many, many people go through there that just, you can see by the looks on their faces what this means to them daily. And so I just, like I said, I just wanted to say that you know, this was kind of about me, because all of a sudden I'm asking him, you know how I am, God, you know, I'm not going to say you wired me like this, but I'm wired not to really be around people and things like that. And I have something inside of me saying, okay, I kind of like to do that. But anyways, one day after leaving, after, you know, being people, you know, right up against me, as I say, I left and was driving home, and I heard a silent, "You're welcome." And it kind of dawned on me, yep, this is kind of about you too, not just, you know, everything, it all works out to where you're helping people, but it has helped me through a big part of my life, stepping into something like this. And I feel 100 times more blessed than those people that come through and say bless you for doing this. And I just would ask that everybody in here this morning would kind of examine themselves a little bit and say, what can I do? What can I do to be blessed? There's many opportunities out there. Thank you.
So we could not do what we do on Saturday without these beautiful people, and we couldn't do it without the rest of you beautiful people. So thank you all so much for the support that you give the Lunchbox. I have debated since Pastor Kelly asked me, and maybe even before he asked me, if I should share this story. And yes, we have some awesome stories from the Lunchbox, and there's lots of joy there. But there's also a lot of heartbreak and a lot of sadness. And I cannot not share this with you all, and it will be a little bit hard for me. So I was already emotional to begin with, so God wants me to share it, and he will help me keep my composure. The Lunchbox is in Beaver, and so many of our guests live in Beaver. And a little over a year ago, I left the Lunchbox and went down to Route 19 right there, just down the hill, to wait for Anthony, my son, to get off the bus. It was one of those hot days, and they're working on the road, so school buses are going and traffic is backed up, and this great-grandmother who comes to the pantry, she's raising her great-granddaughters. She's in her 80s. She's had 2 strokes that I know of, been through rehab, and she comes right back and she gets those little girls and she takes care of them. But she's in her 80s. She lives close to the pantry, and she pulled up in her car, and we talk. She's my friend, just like the volunteers have mentioned. You develop relationships with people. So that day, I go down the road, and I'm sitting in my car, and I'm just going to use the first letter of these individuals' names. So the grandmother, Miss W, walks over to my car, and she's like, "Hey, we've got the babies. You want to see them?" Of course I do. I am like the person that wants to hold that doggy. I want to hold that baby. Can I hold that baby? That's me. So I'm like, of course. So I go over to Miss W's car, and I look in there, and there's this little girl, and she's kind of down in the floorboard, and there's this baby, I think is a baby, and an infant carrier on the other side. So once that little girl sees me, then she got up in the seat, and I walked over to see the baby, and that baby was a little boy who was 3 years old. And he was, again, it was a hot day. He was hot. He was in a sweatshirt like I've got on. It was green. And, excuse me. The grandmother was there, and I could tell the baby was hot. And I said, and thirsty. And I said, "Is it okay if I go to the pantry and see if I have something for him to drink?" So I ran up the hill, and I'm looking. No formula, nothing, I didn't have anything. And reason being, there's programs for moms and babies, and I am so thankful for that. Like WIC, people will donate formula to us, and it will sit on the shelves for days. And like the Saturday before, we had maybe 2 cans of powder formula and some of the liquid, and I gave it all to one mom. I'm like, "Take it." Well, I felt awful that I had nothing for that little boy. But I did grab one of the kids' bags for the little girl, and I ran down and I gave it to her. And I asked Miss W, I said, "Can I get him out of the car seat?" Because I knew it was hot and miserable. And she found some bottle in the car. The reason she had the babies that day is because the person they were placed with, the babysitter that she had COVID. So the grandmother ends up with these 2 babies. Their parents are in jail in Maryland. So I get the little boy out, and she tells me that he's 3 years old and he weighed 18 pounds. I'm holding this baby. The buses are late. People are mad, and I'm thinking, I don't care how late those buses are. You know, I know some of y'all got to get places, but right now I've got to hold this baby because he was just so hot, and he needed love, and he needed compassion. And I think the school buses were maybe close to 2 hours late that day. But I held that little boy, and I wanted to steal him. I wanted to take him, I wanted to make his life better because I could just tell that something wasn't right. But he went to sleep, and I did. I just stood there on the side of the road, and just the breeze cooled him off, and whatever was in that bottle, the great-grandmother, she didn't even know. Several weeks went on. I thought about this little boy, little baby C. And the grandmother, she was trying to get him into Duke or John Hopkins or one of those hospitals to get him some help. I'm not exactly sure what was wrong with him. But I was down at the bus stop again, and Miss W walks over to my car door, and is there a tissue? I said, hey, Miss W., how are you? And she said, I'm not good. I said, what's wrong? And she said, you remember C? And I said, yeah, how's he doing? You know, in my mind, I'm hoping and praying that somebody helped this baby. She said, he's dead. And I said, what? And she told me what happened to him. Again, his parents are in jail in Maryland. He's brought to West Virginia to stay with an older sibling. I don't know what happened to this baby. According to the article in the newspaper, there was drugs involved. There was a video of the male in the household using drugs while he was holding the baby. When he passed away, Miss W. told me he weighed 14 pounds, so he was starved. That was part of the reason that he passed away. She told me that the little girl that I gave the kids bag to said, can I go see that girl that gave me the whole bag of groceries? I mean, so thank you all for at least that we can show them some love. And I struggled with that for weeks. You know, I really, the human in me, wanted to take that baby that day. I wanted to just take him home and show him that he was loved. And I have prayed and asked God, you know, what am I supposed to learn from this? Do not despise those small beginnings. That little bit of love that I was blessed to share with him mattered. It did matter. And somewhere out there, there is someone whose life you can touch. And I hope that in his memory, that was about a year ago, that you all will just be inspired to just take a little bit of action. And another thing God showed me, do not lose focus of who I am in these storms. And so that little baby, he is my inspiration. You know, I will be better, I will do better. I wrestled with, I should have done something. And I told the great-grandmother, I should have called CPS, I should have did this, I should have done. She's like, people already had, you know, they already knew. But I do feel terrible that I didn't do something different. But I will be better for Jesus because, you know, I was honored to at least hold him and love him for maybe a couple hours. And not this past Saturday, but Saturday before last, I showed up at the pantry and the lights were out. We had no power. And I instantly thought of that baby. Oh, go ahead, carry on. You can do it. So the power's out. It's where they were moving the lines on Route 19. So volunteers get there, and we serve with our flashlights on our phone for an hour, and it was great. It was a blessing to do that. So again, I hope that you are inspired to share Jesus' love, show God's love. Thank you so much to all of the Lunchbox volunteers that have shared today. Thank you, Miss Pam, and thank you, Legacy, just for giving me the honor of sharing this with you all today.
Well, thanks for finishing that up and putting me in the puddle.
I know, right?
Do y'all have any questions? Well, let me say this before they ask the questions. Y'all know I'm a big crybaby anyway. We have somebody watching, and she was texting me, and she said, "Be sure and tell them that it's not always about them, that it's about other people, And sometimes you serve not because of what you can get while you do get things sometimes. Sometimes you have to do something that you don't even really like, that you're not even really comfortable with, but you're like, God has called me to serve. He has called me to serve. She said, quit waiting on somebody else to do it. That's why when Doug and Leia last week and we asked for help, that's why they had my mom and dad. That was it. There's nobody else. That's a lot of work. And they're not giving up on it. But my goodness, it's a lot of work. And the statistics are 20% of the people do 80% of the work. So we can count off tens, and 2 of you will do something. 2 of you will do something out of 10. So when God has called you to do it, do it. Even if you don't feel called to do it and it needs done, do it anyway. Do it anyway. You don't know what God has in store for you, but you got to do it because it's the right thing to do and because God has called us to serve people. I will tell you this. They had told me when you do cupboard drop-offs, I want to touch on the cupboard just a second. When you do cupboard drop-offs, they had said, you're just not going to believe it. You know, the people that tell stories. And she told me some things about how awesome it was to do drop-offs. And I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. Till I went. And I did drop-offs one day. And I was like, oh, my gosh. They were looking for Miss Lynn. They said, oh, where's Miss Lynn? We wanted to let her know that we're getting baptized this week. Oh, we wanted, then another lady said, we wanted to let her know that I'm going back for a second job interview. And it's looking good. And they were so excited. And I was like, oh, my gosh. And now I know what she was talking about. Now I know what she was talking about. But until you experience it, it's just like, oh, okay. Well, that's good. You can listen to these people and be like, oh, that's cool. Let me tell you, until you experience it, you do not get it. You do not understand. And sometimes we get left with 20% of the people doing 80% of the work because sometimes the 20% get tired. They get really tired. And that's why then a small number of people are left even smaller because the 20% get tired. And they don't have the time to do everything for everybody all the time. It's impossible. Many hands make quick work. So I want to encourage you. There is work to be done at the pantry, at the cupboard, at the outside with Mike. There's work to be done here. If you want to know why you don't get cold brew and lemonade every week, it's because we don't have anybody to serve back there behind there. If you want to know why sometimes the kids have to be combined and you're not quite sure where to get them from, it's because we don't have enough teachers to teach them. There's a lot of work that can be and needs to be done, and we are not walking in our purpose. 8 out of 10 of us are not walking in our purpose. And it's time to get up off of it and start walking in our purposes. And so with all of that, I know we're going to have Carrie come up to just finish some things up, and I'm going to give you a couple of announcements, and then we'll pray and we'll be dismissed. Inside your flyer, you're going to find that the theater ministry that we partner with is doing a fundraiser improv night next week. So if you would like tickets and would like to enjoy and have some fun and support the kids, you can get a ticket for next week and do that. Baptism is December 7th. If you're interested, please see Pastor Kelly so we could get that squared away with you. Speaking about giving, we had our blood drive on Monday. We collected 33 units. So that is potentially 99 lives that can be saved or strengthened or people kept with their families. And you all saw some of the personal people that we know that attend church here, that their lives were saved and they got to stay with their families because of the donation. So we want to thank you all for that. I want to remind you that if you have grades 3 through 5, we are being serious about trying to be serious about our security. If you have kids 3 through 5, do you all remember where you go to get them? Go to the welcome desk so they can call up for them and bring them down and send them securely to their correct people. So we just want to remind you, and we'll continue to remind you to do that. And Let me just make sure, because I have really, really bad memory. I think that is it. We will turn it over to Carrie, and he is going to talk just a minute, but I will tell you, if you have forgotten to drop your boxes, see me. We do have just a little bit more time to finish that out, but the majority should go out today. And I think, Pastor Kelly, do you want to come up? Because we're going to take care of praying over these boxes as well.
Thank you. Jesus said, "For God so loved the world." You can see the ministries that we got going on here. It's because God so loved the world. These people have value in the eyes of God. They were made in His image. We all were. And even the least have great value in the eyes of God. And we care. Jesus said in the Great Commission that all authority has been given to me in heaven and on earth. Go therefore and make disciples. If I want cookies, it takes flour, sugar, chocolate chips, and work. If we want a building, it takes concrete, sheetrock, metal, and work. If we want a lunchbox, a pantry, it takes materials, supplies, and work. And look what we've done here. Look at all these shoe boxes. These are, they're going in my truck, then they're going to the pickup point, then they're going somewhere on planet Earth to a child to do one thing: make disciples to the glory of Jesus. It's all to His glory. And for all this, I say thank you. Thank you so much. And the results of it all, it's in God's hands. So we'll let Him rock on with it, okay? So thank you all so much. And again, thank you for all of this. You see, this one over here, you see it busting out the top? It's going to take a ratchet strap to put that thing down, okay? That's not cheap crap. I don't look inside these boxes. I made that mistake one time when I first started. And I saw a little dog squeaky toy. And that's where cheap crap came from. And again, I apologize about that. But I say glory be to Jesus. These kids are going to be blessed. And yeah.
So it's pretty fitting today that God kind of orchestrated Miss Angela to handle our services, and that we also get to have this as our last Sunday. I will tell you that there has been money that is donated, that there will be dozens and dozens of other boxes that we'll be getting the stuff this week from those of you that have donated money. So this is just part of this, and I want us to pray over these boxes. But before we do that, I wasn't even supposed to be here today, so I'm really thankful that I was. But I am so humbled by what God has done in this place and with us as a church. By the way, I want to remind you, the church is not a building. The church is the ecclesia. The church is the gathering of people. And the fact that you would be in charge of our services today, I think is very fitting. A lot of you are not aware of kind of how we started as a church, but I was a youth pastor for about 18 years, and the Lord had dealt with me that it was just time to do ministry a different way. I'll be honest with you, I had zero interest in adults. Zero. I was a youth guy, and that was my plan for life. I had never, ever, ever, ever intended to do anything other than be a youth pastor. But when God spoke to me that it was time to do ministry a different way, I was just truly walking in the wilderness. And Jeannie and I, through some God-ordained things, ended up walking through the School of Harmony one day, just looking for a place that we could meet. And at that point, it literally was me and Jeannie and Kenzie and Ethan. That was it. But we were looking for a place, having no clue what was going on. Miss Angela was working there as an assistant for the School of Harmony. And she heard me and Jeannie talking. I feel like one of the reasons that God wanted me and Jeannie to do something different in ministry was because I felt like the focus for a church shouldn't just be on what happens on a church service on a Sunday. Church has to happen outside of that. And so we were standing in the room, and once I walked in the cafeteria, it's what it was, a cafeteria, and I found out later y'all were so excited to show us the chapel because they had done some stained glass cover on the window and they had church pews. I walked in, I'm like, this 100% is not it. Nope, not it. But when I walked in that cafeteria, the Spirit of God just hit me. This is where you're going to be doing ministry. And anyway, Miss Angela heard me and Jeannie talking about how we're going to be doing movie nights, and we're going to get popcorn, and we're going to bring it in, and we're going to do all these things. And I might forget, but I haven't yet. My mind's not great, but to this day I have not forgot Ashby. It was Ashby. Yeah. You had Ashby and you said, how would you like to go to church here? And Angela Lester that day doubled our church. Actually, you more than doubled our church with all of your kids. And I think it's one of the reasons I feel like I love people. I do. I love you. But God has given me a crazy special bond for your kids. And for Miss Angela. When our church was still tiny, our outreach was huge. And so here's what I want to say to you, and this is so cool. I love that you shared that verse. The lunchbox now, which has far outgrown the size and the reach of our church, and that's because of Miss Angela and her unbelievable leadership and just her passion to champion this cause. But it started by her wanting to build a little box or set somewhere in the school where we were having church, and just keep some food in that, and to think what God has done and how he has grown that is unbelievable. And what you have witnessed today is just a great, great, great example of one of our mottos, which is "We is greater than me." It is very, 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 very rare that on a Saturday that I'm not in the office studying and praying over a message. And I know that while I'm there doing that, preparing for days like on Sundays, I know that Miss Angela and Patrick and their team are taking care of hundreds of people. And that is the beauty of when God's people come together and when we serve in our purposes. And so I thank you. I do. You are a hero to me. You really are. I ought to be in the woods somewhere. Now you got me crying like a big old baby. But anyway, thank you guys, and I will tell you this. She is tremendously gifted at being very efficient with what is entrusted to them. But you as a church financially support the lunchbox. Now, what she does with the money that we give them is truly miraculous, the way that she facilitates all that. But you guys are very much a part of all that goes on, so thank you. Really, the main reason I came up here is because I want us to pray over these boxes. I want kids to feel loved. I can tell you that our pastor shared a story. He went on a missions trip to Haiti one time, and there was a kid, and he said this kid ended up being one of the most popular kids in their little village because somebody from America had got a nut and a bolt. Listen to me. Literally, a bolt and a nut. And this kid was the talk of their little village because all the kids would come around. So please hear me. And Carrie, I appreciate, and I think it was you, Miss Emily, that just shared some tough love. We may not, some boxes may have more money invested in them than others, but if we got a whole little village going crazy over a nut and a bolt, whatever you have put in here is enough for somebody to feel the love of Jesus Christ. And so more important than them feeling the love, and more important than the enjoyment they're going to get out of the gifts that are in these boxes, every single child all over the world that's going to receive one of these boxes is going to hear the good news about Jesus Christ. They will never come to Beckley, West Virginia. They're never going to hear Pastor Kelly preach, more than likely. But I can tell you, every single one of these boxes are going to hear about Jesus Christ loving them enough to die and to pay a sin debt for them they could not pay on their own. So here's what I would like for us to do. I would like for all of you who are comfortable, I want us to come up here, and it is the way that we're going to wrap up service. I want us to just come, and I want us to pray over these boxes. Those of you that are comfortable, and you can just come to the front, please come. I want us to lay hands on these. Those of you that can come up the steps, I want us to get all over these boxes, and I just want to pray over them that the kids will feel loved and that they will receive Jesus. By the way, here, I want you to hear me. It's not too late. It's not too late. We're going to have a lot more boxes that are still going to be done. If you have not taken your child, please hear me. If you have not taken your child and done a box, it will change your life. I remember when the kids were little and we finished Christmas one year, they're like, "Is that it?" That was, by the way, the wrong thing to say. They suffered some consequences for that. But for our kids, for the vast majority, almost their entire life, we would take them. I would take Ethan, and Jeannie would take Kenzie when they were just little. And then once they got older, we all do our own. But to take him and him learn that for a lot of kids, this is it. I'd never, ever heard him complain again about what he got at Christmas compared to what somebody else got. So I'm going to ask you to come. We're just going to pray over these boxes. Thank you, Miss Angela and your team. Thank you for all of you who have volunteered and what you do. You are a great example of we is greater than me.